Hello. Yesterday I was muted when I first said hello. And yes, I'm that person that waves at the screen. Hi. How are you today? How is NC Bold going for you? I hope that you are getting lots of great opportunities for learning. And I would just love to know who's here today. So if you want to put a quick note in the chat in the comments area, since this is streaming on YouTube. Tell me where you're from, what you teach, and let's maybe start to find out what we each know or don't know about Canva, or what we're hoping to get from Canva. So tell me where you are, what grade levels, what you teach. I'm Heather. I'm Dr. Heather Kaiser. I am in Cumberland County. I have taught here for 23 years, starting my 24th year this year. And last year was my first year teaching for our brand new, fully virtual online academy. So I taught 5th grade. I'll be doing that again this year. And Canva is just a really fabulous tool to assist with that. And I think I'd be using it again, even if I was back in the brick and mortar. No, think about it. I know there are so many awesome uses for it. So welcome. I'm not seeing a lot of comments coming in yet. Hopefully you can find the spot where you can enter your questions. And oh, there's Donna. Hi, Donna. Art K5 in Duplin County. Awesome. My son, one of my 3 sons, is an art high school teacher here in Cumberland County. Audrey, hello. All right, you are in Tyrell County Schools, the IT director. Well, hopefully you'll get some tips and tricks that you can share out with lots of other educators, Audrey. And hi, Jennifer, high school media here in Cumberland. Oh, yay. Hi, Jennifer. Great to have you here, all of you. And anyone else who is chiming in. Hey, Janet, music in Burke County. Awesome. Well, I have adjusted my presentation a little bit today. I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I can put this up. Okay, so if you don't already have it, make sure you download the Performance Matters app so that you can get your credit for the session, of course. I know not everybody's trying to get credit, so if that doesn't apply to you, fine. If you're just here for the good learning, then great. But if you want the credit, make sure you get the app. Hi, Nyla. Welcome. An English teacher from Wake. Love it. I think there is something for everyone in Canva, for teachers, for students, for all kinds of people inside of our systems. So I'm very excited to share it with you. I do want this to be like a workshop session. I want you to be getting in there and messing around with it. So I am also curious if you all would post, like, do you have a Canva account yet? Have you used it? If so, did you just use it as the teacher? Did you use it with students? So just a little blurb, like of where you're at with using Canva. And while you're putting that into the chat stream, because of course there's that little bit of a delay that we always have online, you can also, while we're waiting to see some of that come in, you can grab the presentation. You can see the bit.ly link there, but I'm also going to pull a banner up with the bit.ly. It's /NC Bold Canva 2. Okay, so make sure that it has the 2 at the end of it so that you have the current presentation for this session. That's going to be really important at the end for getting credit. Okay, so bit.ly /NC Bold Canva 2. And I'm going to come back over and I'm going to actually put that in the comments also to try to help you out. And I need to let you know that yesterday when I did my session, I got about an hour into the session and my entire Google Chrome crashed on me. I don't know what happened. I got back to it pretty quick, but like I said, I don't know what happened. So if I disappear, just stay put. Don't run away. I promise I will come right back. It didn't take me too long to get things back up and going. So hopefully that won't be a problem today. Fingers crossed. Okay. So what I want to do today with this presentation is a little different than what I did yesterday. I don't want to go through all the things like I did yesterday. When I ended yesterday, I felt like I could have done better. And we always want to monitor and adjust, right? So I really want you to mess with it more. So I see that Audrey has a Canva EDU account. Haven't used it with students yet, but you've used it for yourself. Awesome. Janet's got hers. Fabulous. Nyla, yes and yes, a project at the end of the year. So we all, a lot of us anyway, have the account setup part. So that's awesome. All right. So here, let me share kind of like just a quick overview of what it is I'm hoping for us to accomplish today. All right. So let me get that up and pull down that banner. I'm using StreamYard. If you've never seen it before, I really like StreamYard. Let me come out of the presentation for a minute. I love how I can kind of pull different things up on screen and move around. Just, it's got this unique ability. There's a free version and that's got kind of like their logo on it, but I actually paid for the upgrade because I love it so much. So today's base agenda, what do I want to cover? I want to cover what is Canva, not to be confused with Canvas, of course. Making sure everybody's signed up, which we've already talked about a little bit. Talk about the templates, the design elements, the publishing, give you some examples, but I really want time for you to ask questions in the comments and the chat. I want you to be playing with it as we go. So if you have double monitors and you can split your screens off, go for it. Get your Canva open and play right alongside me. I'm going to be making some things for you today and demonstrating how some things go. And you'll have access to this video. You can play it back and pause it later on and kind of follow through the steps with me if I go too fast today, because I am going to talk fast and I am going to move fast probably. I want to focus in a little bit on how we get our classes set up and how we manage a class. And I want to look at different student uses and teacher uses. So that's what we're going to try to cover today. That's a lot of ground that we're trying to cover, but we can do it. We can do it. And I really want to give you more time to play around with it than I gave people yesterday. That's the big thing. Okay, so, and I'm seeing Donna is a yes also. Love it. Here's an example of real quick why I love StreamYard. Because look, I can pull Audrey's comment right up and highlight it right over the top. Just a super quick click. So that's called StreamYard. That's what I'm using. So it's pretty awesome. If you have any use for streaming video next year, I don't know if you're all going back to brick and mortar or not, but I'll be online. So I am loving my Canva and I am loving my StreamYard. Okay, let's go back over to the presentation. This again is at the bit.ly, okay? And hopefully you've gone ahead and gotten it. I'm gonna like fly through the presentation part, okay? So what Canva is a design tool. All right, it's a platform that kind of mashes all the best things together. You can read all of this stuff in this presentation later on. You can look back to it for reference later on. But I'm going to go quick so we can get into the meat and potatoes. So if you haven't signed up, there's your step-by-step how to sign up. Okay. And I'm going to walk through that and point out a few things in just a moment. Once you're in Canva as an educator, really important that you want to be in as an educator because you get all the premium stuff for free. So once you're in that way, then you have access to all their templates, all their design elements, all their publishing options right there at your fingertips. And there are so very many of them. You can see some of them bulleted out here, but these are just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more you can do. If you tuned in and you were kind of waiting for the presentation to start, you saw the countdown timer. I built that in Canva myself, custom made timer just for this session. You can do it too. How cool would it be for your kids to see, for your students to see a countdown timer right before before a lesson starts or before they have work to do or whatever? I know we've all probably pulled up different timers online before, but to make our own and maybe customize it with inside jokes and things from our own classrooms, that would be cool, right? Kids would love that. So in the presentation, in the slide deck, you've got some links to some highlighted example templates. These are not anything. The third one, the digital badge, is one that I personally created, but the others are just ones that I found and thought, okay, these are good exemplars, right? So I linked up a calendar, a couple of newsletters, one that is for primary lower grades and one that is for older students. And then the digital badge one is actually my digital badge that I created for NC Bold. And I'll show you that in a little bit too. Okay, so here's where I normally would have stopped and said, okay, what are the questions? I'm not going to do it this way today. So we're going to bypass that. And we're going to do a lot of your turn playing around with the templates. I want you to play with me. And if you get sidetracked, if you decide, oh, I really want to work on my beginning of the year newsletter while Heather is showing me some of the strategies and some of the cool features, I want to incorporate them and work on that, then go for it. If you want to get off on a tangent working on a lesson plan template inside of Canva, have at it. I want you to play today with whatever makes sense for you. And I want you to take away some of my tips and tricks to help you do that. Okay. And then, like I said earlier, we're going to walk through steps of how to set up the class, how to manage the class, and streamline your productivity. The discussion piece, let's go ahead and get the ball rolling with that. Let me switch what I am sharing for a moment. We came up with a lot of ideas yesterday. So let me just come back to the main part of the screen. We used Mentimeter. If you've ever used that before, you'll be familiar. Let me put it in present mode. Okay. And share out the Mentimeter. So we're going to go to menti.com. You can use your phone to do it if you want to. And I just want you to have this also kind of open in the background, or like I said, it can be on your phone or it can be in another tab or another window. But if you go to menti.com, put that in the chat, then you can put in the code. Oops, I forgot the first W, www.menti.com. And since some of us are already a little familiar with Canva, what are we already thinking? You can see what people were thinking yesterday by the time we were done about ways that teachers might use it. So creative designs for class, certificates, infographics, social media. So once you log in with a code up there, you can add more thoughts and ideas. Or if you just want to say one of the same things I'm already showing on my screen, go right ahead. And there's room for 3 ideas, but you can submit after just 1 or 2 if you only have 1 or 2 ideas. That's totally fine. So this doesn't have to be right this minute, but have it open. And the second slide that comes up in Menti is going to ask about ways you envision using it with students. So by the time we're done today, I want to be able to have lots and lots of ideas that I can tweet back out for everyone to benefit from. So thank you. I can see it already updating with some ideas from people. Teacher Appreciation Week. Cool idea. Really good idea. Yes, and the videos and the web page visuals. Oh my gosh, you guys are like totally in tune with my thinking. So shall we dig into Canva? All right. Let's dig into Canva and then we'll save 10 minutes towards the end for sure, where I can help you get your credit for the course, for the session rather, and we can kind of wrap things up towards the tail end there. All right, let's switch screens again. Okay, so I want to move this and change my focal point. So When we first go to Canva, which by the way, will integrate very nicely with Canvas using links, hyperlinks and things. Also works really well integrated with Google Classroom. So when we get to that point, you're going to love seeing how quick and easy it is to get your students registered and on here. And we had a decent amount of grade level variance here too. So I think you'll find that you really can use it at any of the grade levels. So we're going to let our imaginations run wild with us a little bit today. When you get to canva.com, if you've not created your account, so I'm going to back up in case any of you are trying to help other people get activated. I had to rethink this myself because, oh, do you need the Menti code again, Janet? I think that's what you're asking for. Let me get it real quick for Janet. 3020968. If that's not the code you were asking for, let me know. And I'm going to try, and maybe, you're going to see me kind of looking over here to double check on the comments and the questions, and just stop. Feel free to put something in there. And when I notice it, I will come back, I will pause and address it for you all. Okay. All right. So when someone first goes to Canva, they're going to see the option to sign up, of course. But what I want to point out is this plans menu. We want other educators to sign up for educators because we want them to get the free premium account. And it's so much easier to do that from the very beginning, in my opinion. But if they already have an account, they can get to the they can log in, and then they can go to the education page after they're logged in, and then they can opt in from there. So you will sign up now. That's what a person doing this for the first time would do. You would sign in with whatever your professional email provider is. So if your school district uses Microsoft Teams, or if you have Clever in your school district, or if you are a Google school district or something else, that's what you want to sign up with. All right. And then you're going to go through the basic steps. It's really fast. Someone did this yesterday in our session and had not only signed up, but also had gotten their approval as an educator before I was maybe 5 more minutes into the session. So it's really usually very quick, but it can take up to 48 hours to get the educator account completely approved. So I don't think I can click sign up with Google right now because I'm already signed up with Google. So I'm going to just bypass this and log in with my Google instead. And if anybody is having any stumbling blocks right here about getting themselves logged into their Canva or getting signed up as an educator, shout it out in the chat. Okay. All right. Grab a quick sip. Okay. So when I logged in just now, because I was kind of on that educator page, it brought me right straight down to Heather Kaiser's class, which is great. But I don't really want to do a lot there right this minute. I'm going to work a little bit more up in the main area for the time being, and then we'll come back down into the classroom area in a little bit. So I'm going to come back up here and go to all designs. And here's where I'm going to vary things. I'm going to start varying things a little bit. Yesterday, I walked through all the different templates and so on and so forth. There are a whole bunch of templates. I'm not going to talk about them right now. You can view them for yourself and play around with them right up in here. There's a whole entire category devoted just to education, which is awesome. Okay. All right. So this says all your designs, and okay, I'm confused right now because these are not the designs I was expecting to see. It's like it's put me in a different classroom than I usually am in. So let me switch. I do have 2 different ones. So let me switch. I'm not sure how I ended up with 2. That's a thing I have to work on figuring out. So it had me in my second classroom. Not sure, again, not sure how that happened, how I ended up with 2 classrooms. Um, so this is the one I wanted to be in right here. So when I'm looking at all of my designs, I can see anything and everything that I have created over time while I've been in Canva. Okay. Then I can also categorize these. So if you're a fan of Google Keep, I'm a fan of Google Keep. When you're in Google Keep, you can see all your notes. But if you create labels and you label your notes, then you can view just those notes based on their labels. It's almost like in your Google Drive, where you have things in folders, or you can look at all the things all in one big area. So I'm a big fan of organization. So I like working in folders, but I'm not going to lie to you right now. In Canva, I have not organized all my designs yet. You can see I've got placeholders. Some of my designs are math related. Some are going to be science related. I can create other folders for things that I know I'm going to have. So I'm going to make a folder right now. You saw me click, right? See me click right here, create new folder. I am going to name this folder parent notes. I have plenty of parent notes. Now, these parent notes aren't something that I'm going to be sharing through my class to students to show their parents. They're probably things I'm going to be downloading to send to parents through email or to display on like Class Dojo or Seesaw if you use Seesaw, or Remind 101 if that's your place for parents. So I'm going to create my folder, and then I'll be able to add designs to that folder. So I'm going to come back to all of my designs, and I'm going to find a couple of things that I know I did for parents last year. All right, so I'm going to scroll just a little bit. Okay, this was for parents. It was about office hours with our principal. So I clicked the ellipses, the 3 dots here, and I'm going to move it to the parent notes folder. Move here, just like that. Now, it didn't leave my all designs. Remember, it's not going to. But now when I want to find a note, the notes to parents, they're going to be just right there in that spot. This was an open house note to parents. So this should also be kept in the parent notes area. I think you get the idea. This device pickup flyer, same thing. This was for parents. And these are things that I'm probably going to be sharing again this coming school year and just revising a little bit. So this fantasy one right here, that was ELA. So let me see, do I have an ELA folder? I'm not sure that I do. So I don't, but guess what? I can create a new one right here. So I can create the new folder in a couple of different places, which is very handy. Okay. Any questions on that part? If so, throw them in the chat for me. I'm going to look back and forth. Here's another ELA one. So I'm a huge fan of getting organized. If you've ever done my 30-day challenge, I run a 30-day digital clean sweep every year. And I've had over 600 educators go through that, just cleaning up our digital spaces together for free. So love that. And I'm a huge fan of being organized in my digital spaces. Now, this was a note to my students right here. And so that I might file a little bit differently. Okay, let's look at this design. I'm going to open it right up. So we've talked a little bit about folders. Nyla, let's see. Let me put that up there. You have 3 classes. Not sure how. Oh, but can you delete them? Okay. You know what? Let's go find out. Let's pause for a second and let's answer that question for Nyla. Because you're in the same boat that I'm in. So let me go back to my home screen. And let's just be responsive to that question. Okay. So here in Heather Kaiser's class, what Nyla is saying is she's got 3 classrooms, and where I had 2 classrooms, and they're up here as teams. And so the question becomes like, can we get rid of one of them? You know, can we get rid of the extras? And I may have to say we come back to that. That might be a question I have to do a little bit of digging to find the answer to, because I actually have some things I created there. Nothing terribly important though. So how would we get rid of that? Nyla, we're going to come back to that. I'm going to do some research on that, and I will post, I will put like a little follow up in the presentation that shows how to fix that, because I'm going to need to figure that out myself too. So I don't know how we did it, but we'll have to get it fixed. Okay, so that means I've got to switch back to my other class. Okay, so what I wanted to do next was open up this. This is just a little announcement that I made last year after science fair. So we had a virtual science fair, and for the students who were selected to move on to the regional science fair, I created this to send them kind of like American Idol, when they get their yes votes and they move on. And so I found some animated yes images and the like, just to add a little bit of fun and pop to this. So when I click on the play button up here, you can see it's almost 10 seconds long, a little GIF type image that the student received. So let's look at how to go about making something like that and finding some of these kinds of things. So over on the left-hand side, when you have a design open, you're going to have all of these elements, all these publishing elements and tools to use. You can change your template, or you can add in different types of features. These elements here are where I found the yes words. So I just really typed in the word yes. And because we have the educator account, then we can use even the pro ones completely for free. So you can see I found this one here. I used that right there. I've got this yes and used it here. And so all you have to do is click on it and it will pop in, and then we can start resizing. Okay, so I'm going to just click and delete some of these yeses. All right. And I'm going to demonstrate here. So I'm going to click this yes. It's not where I want it and it's way too big. So I'm going to just drag it like we would images in just about anything. And some images, you're only going to have the corner tools. You see that? And a rotation. So I can turn it. All right. And I can resize it on the corners. Some of the images have additional resizing handles, and I will point those out when I come across one. All right, so I'm going to put that there, and let's see, we'll add this one here, like that. All right, so we're just going to leave those the way they are. Let's say I don't want the blue background. All right, let's say I wanted a different background. I can go down here and pick from backgrounds. And there's going to be a color palette at the top. There's going to be any backgrounds I've recently used are always going to show up at the top. And then they have all kinds of categories, all sorts of categories. Let's say I want this one. As soon as I click on it, it becomes the background. So I don't even have to worry about, oh, I've dragged the picture over. It's over the top of all the other elements and having to rearrange things. Let's say that I wanted no background at all. Let's see if I can get that gone. I'm just going to try selecting it. You can see the green border around it. Let's see if my delete. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. So all I had to do is hit delete and that's gone. All right. So what if I wanted to use a photo as my background. Let's find some kind of science related type thing to use as a background. How about, trying to see because I don't want, yeah, maybe this one. Okay, so if I click on this picture right here, it's just going to drop over the top of everything else. Okay, that's not what I'm after. Ooh, but I will point out now, see how I can resize at the middles on this particular one? And notice what that does. See how it chops off parts of it? So it's sort of like, it's not just a resizing really, it's more of a cropping type of a tool without using crop to do it. Okay. So I don't want that over the top though of everything else. What I want is I want it in the background. This can be trickier. What you want to do is click on it with your mouse or your touchpad or whatever. You want to drag it over. Aha! Did you see that? When you get it just perfectly aligned in the right spot, it creates it as the background. If I drag it a little further, it's going to drop it over the top like an image. Now, not all photos are going to look good as a background. This one with the word science, not really going to look good as a background here. So probably not going to use it. I can always undo or click on it and delete it and remove it that way. So I'm just going to undo and get my gradient background back. I'll undo a few times. There we go. Get my blue back. All right. Now, here's another really cool feature. And again, I know I'm going fast through some things. I hope you've got something open off to the side maybe, and you're kind of playing around as I'm doing it. That would be ideal. If you've not noticed before, there is this animate button up here, and you can animate any of your designs. So this is pretty cool. There's all these presets, and you can just hover over the top of one of them and it will show you what it does. So it just sort of automatically generates based on the elements that you've put on the page and the order that they were added to the page often. Sometimes it's not about the order you added them to the page. Sometimes it's about the preset animation and the direction that it's moving across the page or around the page. So we've got so many different options. I kind of like this pop one. Yeah. Now, if I really wanted to amp this up for my students, I could have added an audio piece to it. And then it wouldn't just be a GIF when I downloaded it. I would want to download it as an MP4. So let me point out to you up here at the download area, if you've not noticed before, or if you're brand new to Canva, Canva is going to suggest to you the type of download it believes would be suitable for whatever you've created. But if you click on that, you get a drop-down list of other options. All right. I would encourage you to learn what each of these is about. I'm not going to take a time today to tell you what each one of these is, but my most popular uses have been PNGs, MP4s, and GIFs. Those are my most popular. On occasion, I'll use the PDF in usually standard size because I'm doing most things online. If you were going to print and wanted it to be really good quality, I would do PDF. I hardly ever, rarely use JPEGs anymore. They're just not the best quality for the things that I'm doing. Over here at the ellipses, you'll notice there are even more options beyond the downloading for other ways to share. We'll come back to these in a little bit. Okay, so let's say I wanted to make this an MP4 when students opened it up and received their, acknowledgement that they are moving on to the next round. What if I want some audio behind it? So there are so many to choose from, and all of them are available because we have the pro versions for free. These are all royalty free, so you don't have to worry about copyrights and your uses. I'm going to just see if I can find something that is celebration-like. What does it recommend for a celebration? And I think you might hear this in the background. I'm not sure if my mic's good enough to pick it up. Maybe you want to let me know over in the chat if you're hearing some of these. So I always like to preview it. That's not going to be the one. Let's check this parade. It's kind of fun. Let's see what else. Yoda. Gotta find out what Yoda's all about. None of these are really hitting me. Let's see. Snap of a finger. You can hear it. Yay, Nyla. Okay. Oh, I like this one. Okay, I'm going to add this one. All right. So now it's been added right down here, and you can see that it's been added. This whole thing is only 6 seconds long, this entire little video thing. So they're not going to hear very much. So what I love is that and if you use Instagram or TikTok, then you're probably familiar with when you, if you've ever done an Instagram Reels or you've added music and sound in the background on a TikTok, you've probably seen this slider bar in those where you can pick the portion of the music that you want to include. So I think that's really awesome that they've included that and that we get it for free. So I'm just going to slide it and see if I can find a really exciting part. Okay, that works, right? That works. So now I'm just going to pause that and I am going to play it. And the first time I do, every single time, I hear nothing. Okay, so if that happens to you, don't be surprised. And then I come back and I hit the play button and voila, it's there. I don't know why it's like that, but it is what it is. And at least I know that the music is attaching and it's not a big deal. All right, so what if I wanted it to last a little longer? Notice that I can edit the timing right here. So I didn't have that option a moment ago when the music itself was the active toolbar at the top and I had the slider. I couldn't change the timing, but now I can go in here and edit the timing and I can make this last for 10 seconds. And then I'm going to get 10 seconds of that music. So however long I want this design to show on screen, I set that right here. Okay, so cool stuff, good stuff. Thoughts, ideas, how might you use it? How might students use it? Any big brainstorming? I am seeing some awesome things on Mentimeter still coming in, flyers and announcements for music and projects, introduction letters. Love it. Love it, love it. Get a sip of water real quick. Thank you for the thumbs up, Nyla. Okay, so I see a couple of student ideas, creating portfolio objects and having them share work. Yes, and they can collaborate with each other too. So this can be shared. You see the share button right here? If I want to share it with the class, I can click on here and I can let students edit the design or just view the design. So that's an option as well. Also, do you see where we have this copy link? Suppose Nyla and I wanted to collaborate together, right? Then I could copy the link, send it to Nyla. I've got it right now set to edit mode, and then Nyla and I would be able to edit and work on it together, which would be great if we're both coaching the same group or club or whatever of students. You can also send your design as a template, or here's a cool thing. What if you did it as a lesson? What if you created a lesson on fractions, or a lesson on a certain composer, or a lesson on Picasso, and you had multiple pages to your design, and then you shared the link with students to watch. So you can grab that link, put it in your Google Classroom, put it in your Canvas learning management system, and share it right out that way also. So let's go back. I want to go back out of this one and talk about how we might create one of the designs that was suggested earlier on teacher uses. One of the thoughts was like a meet the teacher, like a meet and greet type thing. So I am going to go to this weekly class newsletter template that I found and saved, and I'm going to open this up. And I want to remind you again that you can be playing in your account with me and trying some of these things. Even if all you do is open up a blank design and mess around with bringing some of the stuff over into it, that's cool. Okay. So here's this template. I want to reuse it, but I don't want to lose the template because I might want to use it also for my weekly newsletter. So what I'm going to want to do is make a copy of this particular template. So I think I really should have done that before I opened it. I think it's easier to do that before I opened it. So let me go back home. And I'm going to click the 3 ellipses to make my copy of it. That'll be the easier way to do it. So it's showing up here because it's the most recent one. Click that and make my copy. Whole lot easier. Okay, now it's labeled copy. I'm going to change this by clicking right there, and it's going to let me edit it. So I can say meet the teacher. Okay, and I'm going to open that up. All right. Now, I'm not grade 1. I am grade 5, but I don't really want that to be what it says up there anyway. I'm going to put meet your teacher. All I had to do was click, and I can type right over the top of it. Now, I don't like how that's doing because it didn't expand and grow with me. So I'm going to pull this out and stretch it using the handle on the right-hand side and just click and drag and move it where I want it. Okay. Now this 1 in here, maybe I just want to change that to a 5 because I'm 5th grade, and that's cool. Or maybe I don't want that to be there at all. Maybe I'm going to put some other little image in there. I'm going to leave it as a 5 right this minute just because I'm not sure what I want to do with it. Okay. Now this image here is part of a group. So I am going to want to ungroup these objects so that I can change the pictures. All right. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm not sure why it's not showing me the grouping because I know I grouped this in the original just yesterday. So I might need to right click. Oh, it's still not. Maybe I ungrouped it yesterday. Let's try moving it and see. Oh, I must have ungrouped it when I was done yesterday because see, they're not connected to each other. Okay. So I want to just change the picture, and I want that inside picture to be a picture of none other than yours truly. So sometimes when you move images, they can be hard to get right back where they were before. So using the arrows on your keyboard can sometimes get you aligned in the way you want again on something. All right. And what seems to be happening is that the frame is around on the front, and it's not letting me get to the picture to change it. So I'm going to have to change my positioning or just move it out of the way long enough to be able to get at it. So a lot of times, instead of changing the positions, I'll just move it off to the side and I will take that out and remove it. Now notice when I double clicked on this image, you can see this image technically is bigger than what we were seeing. That's because it had been cropped and filled. Okay. When I took the picture out, we now see this frame. This is a frame element. I want to show you where you get these. It's in Elements. Has anybody used frames before? Let me know in the comments and in the chat if you've ever used the frame features. I love, love, love the frame features. So under Elements, you got to scroll down and it's almost at the bottom. You will see frames right here. And so there's a square frame that they've used. And I don't know if I'm going to see it. There it is. Nope, that one's got the crack in it. I promise you, you don't want that one because it actually puts a crack in your picture and like separates your pictures into two parts. So let's click see all. Okay, so there, I don't know if they're using this one or not because I don't think it has the rounded corners, but still, these are the frames. And here's what's cool about the frames. And I'm not seeing any updates in the chat, so I hope that doesn't mean I'm not connected or anything. I hope you're all still there. I don't know if anyone's used frames before. That's what I'm wondering. Okay, so the cool thing about frames is that you can drag your image over to it and it'll embed right inside of that frame and kind of crop to fit it. So if it was a circular frame like this one, then it makes your image circular. It crops it right then and there. So it's really cool. I'm going to go to my uploads because you are also able to add your own images and elements. You can add images, videos, audio. Awesome, which means I can record audio like an MP3 on my phone or in Audacity, which is free, or any other free tool or whatever kind of tool. You can record audio and you can embed your audio in too, which means you could put text in, right? And you could drop an audio button where students can click the button and hear you reading aloud the directions, for example. So this works great for differentiating instruction. So just another little pro tip there. Here's a picture of myself. And since this is my Meet the Teacher, I don't want it as a background. Nope. I don't want to just drop it anywhere. I want it to go inside that element. Do you see that? It's so cool. I love it. I get excited over the simplest little things, y'all. Okay, now I need to move my frame back over the top of that. So I'm going to use the arrows on my keyboard just to make it easier. Get it right around just the way I want it. There you go. Now, if I want to be able to move both of those things together, I would group them together. So that's another handy little thing. Okay, let's see. Let's put some text right here. Let me put my name, and then I have some text that I saved. Let me go grab it really quick. I just put it in a notepad so that I could grab it and drop it in really fast when we got to this part. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to paste it in. Ooh, it's kind of long. I guess maybe it would go better over here. So I'll just drag it there and get rid of that. And, oh, that's right, because I had another fun picture. So I'm probably going to want to move some things around. So in here, I'm probably going to want to add some text. I can click this text and I can choose from all kinds of different things that are presets. Or I can just go with a little bit of body text, which is what I'm going to want. And I want to move that up. So again, I like using my arrows. And I want to make that a little smaller. So now I have my font bar here. So you can see that depending on what you have selected, your toolbars change. Okay. I want these to be bulleted so that I can add a little bit about me. So 23 years in Cumberland County Schools. AIG certified. That right? National board certified. So just tell them a little bit about me. Okay. That'll work. That's good enough for now. And then I want to add another image. This time I'm going to add an image that's not already here. So I'm going to upload media from my device, but note that you can grab your media from several different places. Okay. So I'm going to go to my device, and I saved something out on my desktop so that I could grab it easily. Okay. There it is. Now remember, this should be, hopefully, a photo frame. And so when I delete it, yep, see, there's a photo frame behind there. So I should be able to drag this over and put it inside. Oh, there's a cute little picture of me. And this picture goes along with the information about me over here. So I would just want to caption that somehow, like, I don't even know what I would say here. So to be honest, I'm not gonna waste your time thinking about it. I would have to think about that. So I'm really gonna just put the words placeholder there. So I know I need to fill that in. Okay. And then here, maybe what I want to do is put my contact info. Right. And so here again, I could do bulleted text, and I could put my email address and all of those kinds of things. Of course, then I would probably do some resizing and not make that so big, because I would want it to fit. And once it's in, yeah, because once we go into like a view mode and we really look at this on like 100%, if I was to download this as a PDF or a PNG to share with students and parents, they're going to be able to see this when it's shared at full size. So it's not going to be a problem. Okay. So that's a little bit of creation, some fun meet your teacher kinds of creation stuff. Let me pause for a moment and come back over and take a look to see how we're doing. Thoughts, what has resonated so far? Which things have I shown you that you can't wait to go back and try? Is there anything I've shown you didn't even know was there? Any aha moments? Where are we at? Questions for me? The audio that starts. That's going to be awesome, right, Janet? Are you my music person? The audio resonated with Nyla too. I got to go back and see if Janet was yeah, Janet's my music person. That's why Janet's like the audio inserts, 3 exclamation points. Uh-huh. Absolutely. Fabulous. Okay. We've got about 30 more minutes, and I promised you 5 to 10 minutes at the end where we can just do a quick, synopsis wrap up. So it's time for us to start looking at the bigger picture of setting up the classroom and using it with the classroom. And I saw earlier, Nyla, I think you said, can I just maybe trash it and delete it? Maybe those extra classrooms, that might be the solution. Make sure you don't have anything in one that's not in the other, that's not saved in your big overall all designs. I've noticed typically, though, that it's like a mirror image. So the classroom seems to be an image, a mirror image of what I'm doing in the bigger area where I have been playing around so far today. Okay. So the question though becomes, and I'm sure when you ask to trash it or delete it, it's probably, I would say, usually they're going to ask you, and kind of warn you typically that you could lose something completely if that's the case. So hopefully that's the situation. until I try it, I won't know for sure. So, just move forward with caution, I guess is my feelings on that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go back into it. Okay. So, couple of quick things as we get ready to move into the classroom area. You will see, if you hadn't noticed it before, that I have Bitmoji as an option right here. Now, in previous months, like last year when I was using this, I would go up to my toolbar up here in Chrome where I had added the Bitmoji extension. And if I wanted to add Bitmojis, I would click on that and I would search for a pose or whatever, and I would add it in from there. So I would do a copy and a paste and drop it in. So let's say I wanted to use this one with her. I'm going to copy that image, and then literally I can just come back over here and I can paste her in and resize her and crop her if I wanted to and whatever. Okay, so I know a lot of people were really into the Bitmoji classrooms last year. Any of you? Don't know if that's okay. And I'm seeing what you're posting, Nyla, so I will come back to that. You got it. Okay. So if you all are into the Bitmoji thing, we now can add Bitmojis in right here from the elements, from the design elements. Here's how you get it added. First of all, you have to have Bitmoji. So if you never jumped on the Bitmoji bandwagon, but you wanted to, you have to go to Snapchat and create it there. And that's literally the only reason I use Snapchat. Like, I don't use Snapchat, period. I just have it as an account so that I can have a Bitmoji. And whenever I feel like changing her outfits, I go into Snapchat and I change her outfits. So Bitmoji can be found right here under the more ellipses. There are all these other integrations that can be added in. And so Bitmoji is right here. And once you click on it, it's going to go through the process of connecting your Bitmoji account. And once that's done and you're connected and have allowed access, then you're going to have it here on your element bar, and you can search right from here inside Canva. I used to save the Bitmoji to my hard drive in my downloads, and then I would come into Canva and I would upload it in, and then I would use it. So many extra steps that I don't need to do. So very glad not to have to do all of that anymore. So Bitmojis, fun, fun, fun. All right, now let's go back out of here and get ready to dig into our classrooms. There's also, by the way, and when I'm talking about the classroom and connecting our students and things, if you really loved making the classroom headers that are Bitmojis, you can find a bunch of those in the templates when you search templates. So that's another really fun thing. You can just literally type it right up here, Bitmoji templates. It's going to find a whole bunch of them. Okay. So before we go inside the classroom, I want you to set up something with me. And I'm going to close some of these extra tabs. That's one thing about Canva. It often opens in an extra tab. Wherever you're working, becomes a new tab. So you can very quickly end up with a whole lot of tabs open. So watch out for that. So I'm going to open my school website, which I have bookmarked right here. Okay. And I'm doing that because I want to use our color scheme in everything that I create. And I want to use our school mascot as my logo in Canva. So what am I going to be doing right now? I'm going to be setting up what's known as your brand kit. Okay. So I'm going to my brand kit and I'm going to add a logo. Now, I have it saved in my downloads already. That Phoenix that was part of our website. So I had already clicked and downloaded and saved that, and I'm going to open that and add it. Okay, so that's going to become my class logo, the Rising Phoenix. Now let me update my palette, and I'm going to call this my CAK5 palette for Cumberland Academy K5. And so whoever my art teacher is, I forget who it was, but I'm probably speaking your language right now with all the design elements. Where were you? Donna. Donna. This is for you, especially Donna. So I am going to be adding 3 or 4 colors to be my color palette. And I'll tell you why we're doing this in a couple of minutes. Just hang tight with me. Okay, I'm coming back over here and I have this color picker extension. It's a Chrome extension called Colorzilla. Let me put that in the chat in case you don't have it and you want it. Oops, spelled it wrong. Take the I or the L or whatever off the end. Let me try that again. Colorzilla. There. Okay. Now I'm going to activate Colorzilla's color picker and I'm going to pick from the page. And I want to use the blue color that is in our wording. So I'm just going to get over the top of that and click. And it automatically copies what's known as the hex code, which is the computer code, this code right here for the color. So I'm going to paste that code and it automatically has picked up one of the colors from the website. So now I'm going to come back over and very quickly do that process a few more times. So I'm going to pick from the page. This time I'm going to get this orangey color that is part of our color scheme. Paste the hex code. Okay, and I'm going to add this darker orange also when I can find it again. Where did it go? I think it's going to show up in there. It usually shows up right up in here somewhere. So let me grab my color picker and see if it's going to show up in just a minute. This is our multimedia gallery, and usually there's like a darker orange circle right there that is the color I wanted to grab. But of course, when you want something, it doesn't show up, right? So let me see if I can find it somewhere else on the page. Totally not seeing it today. Strange things. So let me just grab one of the colors out of the Phoenix instead and call it good. Let's see. We'll go with that. And I will add that. Okay, so that's the start of my color scheme. I just want to get one other, like a little bit more muted color. So I'm going to pick one more color, and this is just going to be this kind of like muted color that's not really white. It's kind of a grayish, bluish. Whoops, I didn't mean to change the old one. Now I got to go back. There we go. Let me grab the right color again. I really wish that orange would show up. Okay, I digress. Let me find it. It's kind of this color right there. Let's see if that gets it. I don't know if that worked. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of sort of. Okay, good enough. So there's my color scheme. And now I'm going to add heading styles. Now I'm going to pick fonts really, really fast. Don't get sucked down into the rabbit holes. Oh, that's not the font. Yeah, don't get sucked down into the rabbit hole of picking things. You could end up in here looking at different fonts forever and ever and ever, and spend so much time looking at it. I'm going to grab like a little script style to be kind of an offset there, and then something super readable, especially for your body. So let me just go with that. Okay, if I had my own fonts, I could upload them here. Now, what was the point of all of this? My brand kit. This brand kit is that now when I make a design, these choices are going to be there for me and I don't have to think about them anymore. And I can go in and I can just use them automatically. So let me come back out to the designs and let's just, let's go to, let's see. I just want to make something real quick just to give you the idea. So let's just make something for social media super fast. And let's just pick an Instagram post. And when this loads, all I want you to see is real quickly how those things transferred over. So if I wanted to do background and want to pick from my palette, when I click on background and I click on the palettes, there's my CAK5. Okay, so I can immediately use the background color that I want. All right, when I add text, the heading, subheading, and body are now my defaults of what I created. And I could have changed the size in there, but I didn't. So you can see them though, real quick. That's how it would play out. Okay, let me make those a little bit bigger. I can click and I can just drag and they will get bigger and resize automatically. Okay, and then let's see, was that the main thing? Yeah, I mean, of course there was the logo, so I could drop my logo in at this point if I wanted to real quick. I think you get the idea. So I set up my brand kit before I go into my classroom space. You want your kit set up if you want to have that consistent look, because you can do some design work right inside your classroom space. Okay, so here's my classroom design space. You can see two things that I have shared. These are the only two things of all of my designs that I have shared in this classroom design space. Now, where might we start? Well, we might start creating designs and choosing to make them viewable or not by our students. So we can change that in our sharing settings and things. Right now it's viewable. I can make this not shared. And when I make it not shared, they are no longer going to be able to see it. But it's still showing here, at least right now. Sometimes I find that when I do a refresh, this updates. It's almost like the classroom space updates just a little bit slower than we would expect it to. So patience with it. Maybe we would want to start by creating folders to hold different things. Okay, go ahead. Notice that some of the folders that I had created up here in my primary folders area are showing here for the classroom, but not all of them. If I create a folder here within the class, I expected it to automatically show up here, but guess what? It doesn't. For example, let's say I'm teaching social studies. So let's say I create a folder for social studies. All right. Notice the eyeball right there. If I don't turn that on right now, it's just going to become a folder up in my main folders, and it is not going to show in the classroom. Let me prove that to you. I'm going to create the folder right now. And look where it dropped me. It dropped me in all folders. Do you see that? It pulled me right straight up into all folders, even though a moment ago I was down in my classroom. It's so weird to me. Some of the things that Canva does is kind of weird to me. It's like, I was in my class. I created the folder in my class. Why didn't it just go in my class? Well, because I didn't make it viewable to the class. So I'm going to need to make it viewable to the class if that's where I want it. So I'm going to have to come here and change that. Now, do I want them to be able to edit the folder? Do I want them to edit and share, or just to view it? So initially, I'm going to always do just viewing initially. I'm not going to want students making changes to my folder systems. I'm not going to want students making changes to my original designs either. Okay. I can create templates over here also. So I can keep this on brand. I could have a lesson plan template, or I could have a daily agenda template. I could have a template for the homework for the week or the month. So you can generate templates here and use them with your branding. See that? The logos, the colors, and your fonts. You can make your templates right there and have them handy. Let's talk though about how do I get my kids here in the first place. First of all, if you are working with kids, with students under the age of 13, this is going to have to fall under the same internet usage policies that your school abides by. So whatever those are, you're going to need to follow them. So that may or may not limit the amount that you're able to utilize Canva with students and the degree to which they are able to interact with it. You can share a couple ways though. So let's assume that you either have consent or you have students over 13. We can copy a link to share. That is one way. So for the older students, that's usually the easiest way to get them in just about anything, is by letting them sign themselves up. But if you have younger students or whatever, you may need to do it for them. So there are options for that. Because I've already clicked the button, my link is showing. Okay. I can deactivate the link, and now it shows the button, get invite link. So you're going to click the get invite link. It's going to show up here, and you can share it. You can share it in Remind. You can share it in your Google Classroom. You can share the link in Microsoft Teams. You can send it in an email. You can put it in Class Dojo, Seesaw, you name it, Canvas, wherever you want to put it. You can put the link. They can come and sign themselves into your class. If you've already created a Google Classroom and they've already joined it, this will be even easier because you can just import your Google Classroom. Plus, that lets you automatically be able to push assignments into Google Classroom straight from Canva. So it's one of those tools that integrates and plays nice with Google Classroom. If you want to put all of their individual emails in, you can take time to put all their individual emails in, and you can type them all in, and it has spots for 5 students, and you can just keep adding. And when you do that, it's going to send them an invitation, and they're going to get an email invitation where they click through and they sign up. So totally up to you how you want to go about getting your students in the classroom. Once your students are in the classroom, you'll be able to see them. So I had one person. Let me scroll down. There you go. I had to scroll further. Had to think about that for a second. All I've done is invited in my child for the moment. So I just have my own child as my student right now. And I use the email address to invite her in. So if I were to assign something, I could assign it straight to her. If I had other students, I can make groups, and I could assign a template to a group of students to do some group work together and collaborate on the same document, on the same template. Okay, so plenty of options inside here. Your designs don't show up here until you make them viewable to the class. That's the big trick though. So everything you create up here can be shared lots of different ways. Let's go to this fun with factors, for example. That's already shared down in the classroom. Get it open, if it will. maybe. Okay, so I can use this template because it's actually a template that I saved, or I can go in and edit whatever is already in there. So if I use it as, if I do the template, it's going to make another copy for me. So I'm going to go into edit mode because I already have a copy of it. So I don't want to duplicate it a second time. Okay. Remember the ellipses. I said I would come back to this later. So we can share this assignment. I know some people may not bring their students in as a class. You can still share this with them, and you can use a link to do it right here, or we can download it and you can upload the PDF or an image and have them work on it from there. If you save it as an image, you could put it into one of your own Google Docs if you prefer and use it that way. Some things that are in here that I don't think most people know about is that you can actually present from here or present and record. So if you got familiar with Screencastify or Screencast-O-Matic and were making videos for your students last year, you can do all of that right here inside Canva now. You can also share it straight to your Google Classroom or your Microsoft Teams. So when you're designing, you can choose to share it out right away. Notice you can also share it out to Remind. I know that's popular with a lot of the middle and high school people. You can put it in your Google Drive. So many options. And you can generate an assignment right from here. So you don't have to click down into that classroom area in order to create the assignment. So you're going to give it an assignment description, complete this work, and click next. And then you're going to decide who it's going to go to. And if you want to send it to a specific person, I can start typing my daughter's email, right? And I added her. And so if I'm trying to differentiate for students in my class and I only want to assign it to certain kids, I can assign it just to certain kids. So first of all, it's viewable to the people in my class. And then I'm assigning it to her and I publish it and she will see it as an assignment. She'll get a notification and she'll see it as an assignment to do. Oh, I feel like there were, so many other things I wanted to tell you about. Let me add a page to this real quick and just point out that in your elements area, another section, there are stickers, which are really fun and animated, and there are charts. Charts, I think, are underutilized. You can actually create with students in real time, if you wanted to, a bar graph. I can click the bar graph here. It's going to drop in. And now I have this graph over here where I can type their data in and we can talk about it and work with it and do all kinds of things with it. The other, another element that we can add in, let me get back to the main elements, X out of the charts. If I wanted a gallery of images, let me add another page real quick. And of course, I wouldn't do all of this all in one thing probably, but see all under grids. And let me do a really fast 4x4 grid. Let's do this one. These are those placeholders of images again. Let me go to uploads. And I have 4 random pictures that I chose on my hard drive. I'm going to just upload them very quickly from my desktop. 1, 2, 3, 4. This, whoops. This, and this. Oh, didn't mean for that. Okay, open those. They're going to show up here in my images, and then I can literally just pull each one over and drop them in. They're still loading a little bit. And I know I'm running out of time on you. Oh my goodness, I let time get away from me all the time. I apologize. I promised you minutes, and then I just kept on going because there's so much goodness. So you can do lots of different little grids and things also, I guess, is my point here. How fun and easy is that, right? So how do I get rid of and archive the old classwork? Great question, Nyla. Let's go back to the class page. Oh, and I do want to answer that for Nyla, but let me stop sharing for just a minute. Okay, because we legit, it's 3:20 right now. That's the 80-minute mark. Like I was supposed to leave you 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you for jumping in with a question. I need to point out to you that at the end, and I've got to fix this very, very quickly. So if you go back to the presentation that I sent you the link for earlier and refresh it, okay, make sure you refresh it so you can get the QR code that I just now uncovered. That's going to let you get the, I'm thinking, that's going to let you get the QR code to be able to get your credits, right? So I just uncovered that. You should be able to refresh and get that. And one more time, the link is it's bit.ly, and then it is NC Bold Canva 2. So I'm putting that in the chat again for you also. Okay. And Nyla, I'm going to look at your question and do that. And I will stay. If there's more questions, I will stay and we will talk about them. So this is Nyla's question, and it's what I'm going to try to figure out with her right this minute. So let me get back into my class. And you will see, let me share again. And full disclaimer here, keep in mind, I did not use, oh, wait a minute. Sorry, I'm just not seeing. Oh, there it is. Okay. I wasn't seeing the right window for a minute there. You are so welcome, Janet. I know it could be an all-day class. So look at the part where it's how we can be connected, and come join my Facebook group, because I offer tips and tricks like this all the time. And there'll be follow-up for sure on Canva in my Facebook group. So it's free and everybody is welcome. All teachers are welcome. So stick around if you want to stick around. I'm going to try to answer Nyla's question. And if any other questions pop up before I close out, I will answer those as well. I'm in no rush. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you all. And if you got to go because you've got other things you're trying to get to and you need a break in between, I totally get that. And I hope you have a great afternoon and that you've had a lot of wonderful learning through NC Bold. Okay, so Nyla, coming back to it. Your classwork, when people turn it in, it's going to live up here. And notice I don't have anything here because I did not assign classwork through here last year. But this is the area where you will have to do that cleanup. And what I'm going to have to do is I am certain that there's like a little step-by-step cleanup guide. And if there isn't one already, I'll be making one, because it falls right in line with my how to clean up my digital space at the end of a school year kind of thing. So I'm going to be looking into how can I come in here and clean up, because I don't want to lose my templates. But each person's work, I'm going to want them to decide if they want to download it and have their own copies before I clean up and archive it out, because I'm not going to want all their stuff to look at from year to year to year. I'm going to want to clean up from year to year to year. And see how back in my class, when I made that one thing not visible in the class anymore, or not assigned to the class anymore, now it has disappeared from the designs, but it's still going to exist up in my all designs. So really, this is just a mirror reflection area of what's up in my all designs. So I would say that if I come up in my all designs, Nyla, And if I delete this fun with factors right here, if I come up here and I move this to the trash, it's going to delete the design. It's going to delete the related template. It's going to be gone out of the class. Now, I don't think I'm going to want to have to click on every single individual item every time either. So I'm going to be looking for a fast way, because I imagine I'm going to have a lot in there by the end of this next year. So I'm going to be looking for a fast way to archive it out. And maybe by then they will come up with some other ideas on, maybe they'll have improved the way this works for archiving as well. Notice how it still shows right here, but I haven't really refreshed the screen. Let's see if I hit refresh. I have a feeling it's going to disappear. It should disappear because I trashed it. Yeah, it's gone. But now look in my trash and see there's tons of things that I've trashed. So it's not done, gone, right? Some of these things I trashed a really long time ago. 10 months ago, this one was edited. I'm not sure if that's when I trashed it or not, but that's another good question to follow up, is like, how long do they live in your trash? And what's our full capacity limit? I'm not even sure. See, like, here's my little Bitmoji classroom that I made and trashed. So yeah, I don't have all the answers, but I am on the journey with you for sure. For sure on the journey with you. Okay, let me see. I want to try to pull that down. Okay, anything else? Okay, let's see what this says. Okay, can we just delete most of the students' classwork? I would think so. Yeah. You could totally download them and save them. You could move them to Google Drive and save them. You could do any of those things, I think, and then trash them. And the interesting thing, the thing I'm going to want to test out with my daughter, like, she's my guinea pig. What I'm going to want to find out is if she creates something and then I get rid of it from the classroom, does she still have access to it? Does it still live in her Canva? That'll be important to me to know. So, Donna, so I know that they were having problems with the certificate stuff earlier today. I thought that they got it fixed though. Let me share a different screen. This one right here. Oh. Okay, so, I need to refresh it. You can try, I don't know if you're in the presentation or not, but the 15th slide in the deck, has a bit.ly for attendance if you can't get the QR code thing to work. So it's two separate things, and you can use one or the other. And hopefully one of them will work. If not, if you can't get it to work right now, maybe try back a little bit later. If you still can't get it to work, then use my contact info that's on slide 14 and let me know. Email me or reach out to me in a direct message on Instagram or Twitter or somewhere, and let me know that you're still having problems, so that we can get you that credit, Donna. Okay? Yay. Okay. All right. Well, I thank you all for being here. This video, you can still get back to it. I'm going to leave it on my YouTube channel. It's unlisted, so don't lose the link. But I hope that you loved the session, because I had a lot of fun sharing with you today. Have a great school year 2021, 2022. Bye, everybody.